Hello from Tasmania. So I have been in Tasmania for a couple of weeks and it's been a very interesting journey. I've been helping at the New Kind Festival site, which was just a field to start with, and there's been it's just like a quite harsh environment to build a whole festival site, and I've been allocated emotional support, so I've been helping people with whatever's going on for them and just kind of keeping people balanced so they can get on with the job. And yeah, I think that I've had a couple of days break from that and I've ended up in an amazing place. I'm like in an amazing house, about an hour away from Hobart, and I feel very grateful to have had a bed and a rest and just to be in this beautiful, peaceful, like right now I can see water, like a little alcove of the ocean, and it's actually like a little baby shark sanctuary or something. I actually did jump in and I did not get eaten by sharks, so that's great. And I put some photos on earlier showing I was on a beach yesterday that there was no other human. You couldn't even see another building, so it was really magical and really rejuvenating. And I'm super happy to come on live and be able to talk about something. It's a little bit, I don't know if people find it easy to understand or not. Like, what does alignment mean to you? Does it mean anything? Is it something you look for? Because it certainly is something I look for. And for me, alignment is kind of a big topic, actually. So today this video might be quite a lot of information, like and it explains how auras work, it explains why you might be held back in certain areas of your life, and it might help you regain a sense of self-worth and momentum in the direction that you want to go in. So let's get started, and hello to everyone good morning, lovely. Hope all is well with you, my lady. Looking really well, my friend. I am really well. I'm kind of, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm actually a little bit tanned, which makes me feel super good. I've got vitamin D in me, and I've just had a couple of days here in this house with a lovely new friend, where we've just been sitting and working and being creative, so I'm feeling good. So what we're going to talk about today is alignment. So when you're not in alignment, let's get that clear. When you're not in... Hello, Lindsay. I'm looking forward to seeing you very soon. Glowy. I do feel very glowy. I do. Thanks everyone. That's so kind. I'm going to just take in that loveliness because I want to honour your lovely compliments. Thank you. So, alignment, when you're not in alignment. So let's say there's two kinds of, let's just say for the sake of this video, there's two kinds of people. There are people that have never maybe been in alignment, so everything feels a bit hectic. Or there's people that kind of know what alignment feels like, but they kind of fall off it often. And when you're not in alignment, you can feel like heavy, like life is a struggle, like you're going uphill all the time, like you don't have energy, that you're maybe burdened, or you're in the wrong place, in the wrong job, with the wrong people. Things like reality is kind of jarring. It just doesn't feel like you're in the right place, or not what you imagined life to be. So there's a moment of like, I'm not supposed to be here. And I love this. This might have to be another video, but there's this thing of like, all is exactly as it should be, or are you out of alignment? I'd like to bring that up at some point because I think that's like a little bit contentious. But if you're not in alignment, it doesn't feel comfortable and you kind of feel unhappy, I guess, and you feel like things are spiky, frustrated, maybe you're not looking after yourself, and maybe you just don't feel very balanced. So there's just it's just this general feeling of discomfort and like drudgery. And when you are in alignment, you feel on fire, focused, creative, light, excited, motivated, on a roll. But yeah, I feel it. Like today, the friend I'm with, some really cool news happened for her. Like a really cool business thing happened, and she was like, "I'm on fire," and that's exactly what I would call being in alignment is, you know. And the person just actually glows. Like maybe you say I'm glowing right now. I feel in alignment because I'm talking to you about what I'm passionate about, and I'm in a really nice place, and everything feels well. So you glow when you're in alignment. When you're not in alignment, you maybe, yeah, you maybe you're not shiny. You're not shining. So, and you definitely know if you're normally in alignment when you fall off. So let's say you're like a passionate, purposeful person, like an entrepreneur, coach, and you're like, yeah, I'm on fire, like things are really moving in the right direction. You know when you fall off it. And that's the most distressing because you know what alignment feels like, and then you're not in it. And then you're like, why is everything going backwards? And I work a lot with people like that. I love to work with people like that, that are usually on fire and usually in alignment and then falling off it. And then they don't know why. Because it can be quite a mystery. It's not simple. It's not like you click your fingers and you're going to be in alignment. There's actually so much pretty weird stuff happening for humans to push you out of alignment. And obviously some of it can be self-sabotage. So you actually have maybe unconscious, subconscious programs from your childhood, some beliefs that you've picked up that mean that your body, or I've talked about this in a couple of videos ago, about Activate Your Potential program I do, that there are programs that run in the background your body will protect you from moving forward, because if you achieve success you might not get love ever, so the body will stop you from achieving success, will make you very tired, will put the stops on so that you don't sit and, you know, bash out the business plan that will change your life, because you might never ever experience love. So that might be some subconscious programming. So we all have like versions of this, and it's possible to find these limiting beliefs. Yeah, Amanda, please invite people to watch. Why not share it? Just share the video. The more the merrier. I'm happy to make new friends. So you could be on some level self-sabotaging. And I don't mean self-sabotaging like you are on purpose sabotaging your success. It is more unconscious than that. And things like kinesiology are perfect to identify what these limiting beliefs and thought patterns are. Great. Okay, so what I really want to talk about is the stuff that alignment, when you're not in alignment, misaligned, when you are misaligned, when it's not generated by you. So this is bigger forces at play. This is the weird stuff that I want to talk about. So this is why I am so passionate about dissolving old auras, because we are dissolving a system of an energetic membrane that functions to connect us with certain people and to connect us to like planet energies and to connect us to our ancestry. It's a system, an energetic system or operating system that is no longer working for us very effectively and actually can be quite harmful, and is actually an old operating system that we don't actually need right now. There are other ways that we can be operating, that our auras could be operating and functioning with each other, that doesn't involve what I'm about to show you. I drew a picture for myself just to remind me of all the things that could be affecting your old aura. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it's basically very messy. That's like a person in the middle, and this is like just some of the stuff that I'm going to try and describe to you right now that will explain like why there is so much happening to us to keep us out of alignment, and to keep that means we have to fight for our alignment. I feel like I've been slowly but surely fighting for my alignment. I've been pulling away the debris. I've been pulling away the veil. I've been just slowly making my life and my energy far simpler. So this is not about complicating things more. An AuraTransformation or kinesiology is not about adding stuff. It's about slowly pulling away all this stuff that's holding us back. So I'm going to just randomly list different things that could be affecting your aura that isn't necessarily useful or helpful, and that you don't actually have to live with anymore. So there are things like, the first one that comes to mind is entities. So, people go like, oh my god, entities, that's like dark and dangerous. It's maybe not as dark and, oh, maybe it is, maybe not to me. So entities to me are a set of energies that feed off other energies. Like, we eat food, gives us energy. It's kind of like that, but on an energy level. And they have their own purposes. They're not necessarily like gargoyles that sit and eat your energy. Some can be, but they're not necessarily that. It's just that certain levels of consciousness and in different dimensions need energy to feed themselves and to generate more energy. So if we're going to go a little bit dark, but very real, is sexual entities. So people's sexual energy can be distorted by sexual entities, and you can catch them by having sex with other people. And then let's say how that manifests to someone with a sexual entity. It doesn't have to be necessarily too dark, but you have sexual urges towards others that your soul, your spirit, your innocent higher self or inner child wouldn't go and be interested in. But actually it's like entity recognizing another entity and, oh, I think I want to have sex, I'm aroused by that person. Well, sorry guys, I know it's early morning in England. This is early morning chat with Sarah. It's just an easy way to explain entities. So the sexual distortion. So it's always, for me, alignment is coming straight back to what is your energetic purity, what did you come into this world with? Like your innocent inner child, your energetic blueprint, your higher self, your higher dimensional self, your gifts, your talents. It's about stripping back to that. And even our media, there's sexual entities all over our media. In pornography is a sexual entity in itself. I see pornography as this huge siphoning tube that's just sucking human sexual energy up into it, and it creates neural pathways so that you're like, oh, I want to, I need stimulus response towards sex. And so entities don't have to be just individual, they can be massive collective entities that are siphoning your sexual energy. So having an aura transformation is actually dissolving the part of the aura where they would be stuck to. So it might not clear everything, but it's definitely a huge step up. So the old aura that we dissolve in an aura transformation is in the third dimension. Let's just call that, let's say there's like atmosphere around the planet. It's like the third dimension is an atmosphere around the planet. This is a simple way of putting it. And then if you have an aura transformation, you're going to the next layer of atmosphere or consciousness, like another dimension. And most of the entities that as humans have been swapping and sharing forever are living in this third dimension. So when you go into the fifth, the entities they don't even know where you are. They can't even find you. So it's a bit like, I liken it to, how on MacBooks you don't get as many viruses as you do on a Microsoft computer. So being in the third dimension in the old aura is kind of like being in a Microsoft computer where you can get all these viruses offline and it passes around. Whereas if you go into the fifth dimension, I mean, Mac haters aren't gonna like this analogy, but going into the fifth dimension where your new aura is, there's far less entities. There are far less entities that can reach your energy field. It's just less populated. So that's just like one example of something that could be pushing you out of your true alignment. Everyone's alignment will be different, okay? One truth isn't the same as someone else's truth. Like one's paradise is someone else's nightmare. So that is just one thing that could push you out of alignment. Another thing that could be pushing you out of your true blueprint alignment is, let me look, which one am I going to choose next? Planet energies. Planet energies influence through the astral body of the old aura, and so do ancestral imprints and karmic bonds with people. That's what your old aura is made of. It's like, I call it the universal plug socket. And it's like, I call it universal plug socket because anything can plug in. The entities can plug in. The karmic bonds with certain people that you have been tied to, possibly for many lifetimes, is attached to the old aura. If we don't need to have the old aura anymore, what happens to those karmic links that you've been repeating in this reincarnation cycle over and over again? If you have the new aura without the astral body, you are embodying your higher self, and you have energetic clarity, and you can choose to create relationships with the people you want to. It isn't in this old karmic cycle where you end up in magnetic relationships with people that you don't really get why you're in a relationship with, and you're like, why do I keep going into relationships with that person or with those kinds of people? These aren't good for me. And that's part of the functions of the old aura that just are not working for us anymore. So I am filling you guys with information, and if it's not clear and you want me to backtrack, just tell me here now, like, what do you mean by blah blah blah, and I'll explain more. So the old aura, I'm going to explain anyway. I'm just going to imagine you don't know what I'm talking about. The old aura is there's several layers to the old aura. So if you're born before 87, you're seen to have the old aura. Even if you have indigo energy or crystal energy or this, that, and the other, you still have the old aura. You still have you have the etheric layer, which is like the protective layer of the aura, which can get frazzled very easily, and means that you leak energy out, and you also pick up everyone's energy. So that would make you feel really out of sorts and out of alignment, because you can't hold your own energy to you, and you feeling everyone else's. So how can you be in alignment if you're feeling other people's thoughts and feeling other people's feelings and then living them out and then not sure like what's going on? So that would keep you out of alignment. And the etheric layer is getting weaker and weaker for many people. Most people that come for an aura transformation, I'd say 80%, have hardly any more etheric layer or old aura left. Because there's so much high frequency energy coming into the planet now, and the big revolution in consciousness is happening now, the old aura is struggling. Some people need to be in the old aura, and that's part of their life purpose, and that is fine. So I'm not saying everyone has to have the aura upgrade or anything like that. But people that are struggling energetically, they probably have very low protection. So having an aura transformation would give you far more energetic protection. And that means you can have more integrity and more alignment, because you're keeping your energy to yourself, and you can protect yourself from other people's. The next part of the old aura that we dissolve is the astral body, and that's sort of like around the aura. It's like further out, and that's what the universal plug socket is, where entities can attach and siphon energy, where the karmic bonds with certain people, and you're not sure why you're always in this sort of story, or you know you've met this person many times, and why are you doing it again? And then you can also have on the astral body is where the ancestral imprint comes off of the body. And I have actually seen what that looks like in kind of dramatic cases, where the ancestral imprint, so that means that a pattern of energy that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation. It can be positive, but it can also be not so positive. So, for example, in my ancestral imprint, there's been this really strong, drive to change the world and like constant energy to do that. But it can also push me, like propel me, like I have to do all this stuff, and it's not always healthy. And it's much better to be in control of your ancestral energy. But when your like aura is damaged for any reason, these kind of outside the ancestral imprint, the karmic stuff, it cannot actually take over and become negative. So for me, some of my ancestral imprint, and I discovered this way before AuraTransformation even came into my life, I figured out that a lot of my ancestral imprint was like these negative thought patterns. And because I'd weakened my energy field, I didn't have much control over it anymore, and it kind of took over, and it gave me really low self-esteem. And I was like lying in bed and in the morning before my eyes even opened, and there was just all these horrible thoughts going through my mind about how rubbish life was, or that I was, or whatever. And I started writing it down every day, like, what is this and why are my thoughts like that? And this, this has to change. I can't carry on like that. And as I wrote them down, I realized that, hey, these thought patterns are not me. This isn't my personality. This isn't not how I talk to my friends or my daughter. And this is really not how what I believe in the world. So what on earth is it? And I started researching into like epigenetics and how just trying to figure out where it came from. And as I wrote it down, I started noticing patterns and realizing that this was like the mindset of the unhealthy feminine. And the unhealthy feminine, we've lived in a society, a history where the feminine has been oppressed, where we've only just got the vote and that we can be powerful women now. It's only just happening. We're doing it. And so it's not unheard of, or it's not unusual to find almost every person that I aura transform, whether male or female, has like a level of negative self-talk or whatever around self-worth and standing up and being a powerful woman, or using the feminine energy, respecting the feminine energy. So it's not only ancestral imprints that come down your family line, but it's the ancestral imprint, like our collective ancestral imprint, that can have an influence on us. So that plays out in our cells, in our energy fields, in the vibrations that we carry, and every single thought and every single emotion carries a vibration. And if that vibration is like of low self-worth or lack or whatever it is, that's playing out within you. And if the weaker your energy is, the stronger that kind of thing can take over. So that's another thing that can push you out of alignment. I did say there was going to be loads of information. I did say that. So pushing yourself out of, being pushed out of alignment isn't necessarily always your fault. That there is a lot of forces playing out around our bodies and in our cells and in our collective consciousness that could be pushing you out of alignment or hindering you from even knowing where that could be. So when I started writing all this stuff down and realizing that my collective ancestral imprint, or whatever you want to call it, was causing me harm, I was like, well, what do you do with it? What am I going to do with it now? And it doesn't go away when you figure out what it is. And then when I heard about aura transformation and had an aura transformation, I knew it was the key. And I've never had any of those thoughts again. Like, totally different mindset. That vibration that was playing out like a gong in my head of uncomfortable emotion, gone overnight. So that is one thing that can help you come into alignment, is dissolving the part of your old aura that is functioning to pass down vibrations of our collective history that are not useful anymore. Okay. And another part of the old aura that we dissolve in an aura transformation is the lower mental layer. So that's like an area around the head, which is connecting us all energetically to the collective consciousness. Great. We are all connected via the mind or the energy to the collective. Okay, but is that healthy and is that useful? If for some people it's a nightmare. For some people, it means that they have so much mental chatter and monkey mind that they can't think for themselves. They can't think straight because it's just like da-da-da-da-da-da, and it's judgmental, and it's this, it's random, it's like confusing, and it's just like a constant hum. So having an aura transformation means you're unplugging from the collective consciousness, and you can then learn what it sounds like to have your own inner intuition heard. Like, it might be a bit eerie. Some people are like, oh my God, because suddenly there's just quiet. Nothing going on in the head. It's crazy. And I remember the first couple of days, I was just like, this is like so quiet. And it's almost like, that feeling you get when the snow is settled and there's no noises anyway, no birds, and it's just so quiet. It's kind of like that. And I mean, it does come back, but in a different way. Instead of it being all this crazy collective mental chatter, ancestral chatter, outside chatter because you've got no auric protection, suddenly it's This is my purpose. This is what I need to do. This is what I'm fired up about. This is what I'm passionate about. It's much easier to be in alignment if you know what you're passionate about, what your gifts are, what you love talking about, what you love doing, and what you love thinking about. If you can't hear any of that, how can you be in alignment? So having an aura transformation is dissolving that connection to the collective consciousness and dissolving the astral body with all that ancient debris that we're all carrying around, and dissolve the etheric layer, which is basically a protection that's getting weaker and weaker over time. So we dissolve all of that, and then we embody the higher self, your blueprint, your unique fingerprint in the universe, your tune, your vibration, what you've come here, your unique gifts can shine and can be expressed if all that ancient debris is moved out of the way. So you can come into alignment with yourself, so you can actually hear yourself. That is the magic of having an aura transformation. And I did mention planet energies because they have like a huge, they can also kind of plug into the astral body of the aura. So different planet, Annie Senov that developed aura transformation wrote a really good book called Golden Earth, Golden Age. I always get them, I think that's what it's called. And that has all the planet energies, almost like personality profiling. So what's someone, personality profiling. So like, what is someone with a lot of Neptune energy? What is someone with a lot of Mars energy like? What's someone with a lot of Moon energy or Venus energy, blah, blah, blah. So having an aura transformation is that you're kind of converting your energy to the crystalline aura of the crystal children, which is a Venus energy, which is a love, intelligent, balanced energy. It's not in a fight with the world. It's in alignment with itself. It's completely balanced in its elements, and it's masculine and feminine, and it's centered in itself, so that you can really be at peace with yourself and at peace with the world that you are trying to create for yourself. And so planet energies can have having a lot of planet energies influencing you in your old aura can also push and pull you in and out of your true alignment. Yeah. So let me see if there's more things on my crazy picture that I wanted to share. Yeah, so in the old aura, you can also be completely fragmented. Like your higher self in the old aura is floating outside of the body. And that means for some people, it's not only just, for everyone, it's sort of outside the body, let's say on a thread in the old aura. But there's certain times in your life where life can be really difficult, or you've had like some sort of traumas, or you've really just wanted to get out of here, like get off earth, like I don't like it here, this is difficult. Maybe you were a child, maybe it was heartbreak, maybe it was a car accident, something has jolted you. Oh, Amanda, thank you. That's a good question, and I'll answer it in a bit. If I forget to answer it, do let me know. I'm just going to try and stick to what I've got a few things I need to say, and then I'll get to that. What happens during an aura transformations? Yeah, well, I'll get to that. So soul fragmentation, or being fragmented, or having these traumas at different points in your life, it's almost like a little part of your spirit energy is going to go way out and far out and make you feel like you're not really in your body. If you've seen before and after pictures of me, you'll see my eyes quite sunken back and a bit glazed over, because I was like completely not in my body for different reasons. And it just kind of means that you're maybe often in your head, or the mental chatter I was just talking about, that you're not really happy, you're not really in your body, you're not really experiencing what the body has to offer. You're trying to constantly get out of the body by numbing, like by eating crap or taking drugs or drinking or doing anything possible to not feel and not think about what's going on, or spend time alone, or do any healing. And that's that fragmentation. You can sometimes feel it on people, like they're not in their body, like maybe they're not really in their eyes, but then they're also kind of that feeling of weightlessness, frailty on some level. So having an aura transformation is pulling all these fragments back, and pulling all the energy you've ever put out in the world, in all timelines as well, not just this timeline, but past lives. If you even want to go, you might not believe in past lives, but basically we're pulling all your energy in that you've ever spent, pulling it back into the body and pulling all these fragments. And that's part one of an aura transformation, actually. That ties in neatly to Amanda's question. That you're going to reclaim all parts of yourself in the first part of an aura transformation, including the fragmented parts, the lost parts, the scared parts, the afraid parts, the inner child parts that are trapped in pockets of consciousness, repeating old stories and old traumas over and over and over again. It's just reclaiming all these parts. And that doesn't mean it's going to be all a bed of roses, reclaiming parts of you that have been lost and scared. You're going to have to learn how to hold yourself. You're going to have to learn how to love yourself and learn how to make your physical body a home worth living in. And when your higher self's in charge, it's much easier to do that. And you can really come into alignment with yourself when you love yourself, when you love all parts of yourself. Yeah. So being, like, having your higher self in your body and having all your energy in your body means that you're connected to Earth in a much stronger way. You can make a lot more happen when you have more energy in your body. And when, you know, you're higher dimensional, this is what I feel my real life purpose is, whether it's just talking to you like this or working in an aura transformation or doing kinesiology. My real passion and what lights me up and why I know I'm here is that my role is to take these higher dimensional concepts, higher dimensional energies, higher dimensional understanding, and knitting it to Earth. Knitting as in literally trickling down this sort of information, your higher dimensional self, and bringing it to Earth so that when it connects with Earth, the Earth's dream, what the Earth wants for us and for herself or itself, and what we are doing, start aligning so that we can be like really good, noble Earth dwellers. You know, like, I believe that we can align our human dream to the Earth dream and really bring this higher dimensional self to the Earth plane so that we're living as conscious, awake beings that mean well and that can do well. And that is what my friend said 2 days ago, and I love this: sacred activism. We have to fight for our alignment. And in a fight, I don't mean fight, I mean pull away the rubbish so that we can be these whole higher dimensional beings on Earth today now and make a difference. And the difference starts within each one of us, one at a time. Okay, I'm getting there. I think I've said a lot. So what I'll do is answer Amanda's question, which is what happens in an aura transformation. So in the first 45 minutes to an hour, we really draw in all your energy. Sacred activism. That was Angela Jade online that said it the other night, and I was just like, that is exactly what I do. Yes. Because I used to fight with the placards and everything, and I used to do all that kind of activism, and it felt useless eventually. And now this sacred activism makes so much sense. I'm going to do another video on it, actually, on its own, so I'm not even going to go into it. But the aura transformation, I'm going to get rid of thingies so that I don't get distracted. So the first 45 minutes is we're drawing in all your energy from everywhere, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, sexual, past, present, wherever you put energy, past lives even. It's drawing all energy from all timelines and splicing it here now into this body right here, so that you have more light, more energy in this body. And we're drawing all your soul fragments at the same time, or spirit fragments, parts of your energy that have like gone out of here because it's too hard to be here. So it's reclaiming yourself in a massive way. And once we have drawn in all your energy, so it's a bit like a soul retrieval in that sense. It's a bit like a chakra alignment, because as all these parts come in, you're filling out the chakra system as it exists. And then we are dissolving the old aura, which doesn't always take very long because there's not much of it left often. So a lot of people are walking around with absolutely no energetic protection. It's crazy. So dissolving the old aura it's a sense of freedom, to be honest, of freeing yourself from all this ancient stuff and all this traumas that you've piled up around you. Because the old aura acts like a bucket to all your experiences. Everything you've ever experienced is recorded in and around you. And if you don't have ways of emptying it out daily, then it's getting heavier and heavier and fuller. And you can see people like crawling around with all their stuff around them, weighing them down. And having an aura transformation is a fresh, energetic start. So once the old aura is dissolved, all those layers I've talked about, then we are calling in your higher self, basically. Your higher self is going to come in and around the body, and it's going to expand your consciousness. You're literally expanding your own consciousness with yourself. And it's a permanent expansion of your consciousness. So once you've had the aura transformation, it gets better and stronger over time. It's not like just cool for the treatment. It gets better and better. So having your higher self kind of unpack and unfold around you kind of gives you much more energy and a much wider aura too. And that's when the chakras move. So people get a bit like, ooh, about dissolving the chakra system. So it doesn't necessarily dissolve, it's actually merging. So instead of having 7 chakras, you're merging to have one simple heart chakra. Not 7, 1. So it's much easier to spin one plate instead of 7. Trying to fix 7 used to be a nightmare for me because I was all over the shop and I was constantly opening and closing and like, trying to fix my aura. And now I don't even have to think about it, to be honest. It's just a lot simpler. And then what do? Then, when you're full with your own energy, we integrate the crystal aura. And lots of people can feel that happen. It feels like a warmth or being zipped up or having like a new it's like literally having a new home to live in. This is something you invest in because you're going to travel around in it for the rest of your life. It's like buying, a laptop or a bike or a car. It's like, it's not a holiday from yourself, it's buying a whole new home. It's such an amazing investment. And then you're free to go. And then you have a part 2 session. It's called the balancing. And in the balancing, we are still drawing in your energy. You're going to be spending months drawing in as much of your energy as possible from the past. And eventually you'll just work with what energy is around you and pull in what came in today or whatever. But to start with, you're going to be pulling in energy for a while. And we call this the pulling in energy and embodying your higher self is called crystallizing. And that is what's going to be happening for 9 months to a year and a half after your aura transformation until you're fully crystal. It might be going faster and faster really as time goes on because people are crystallizing faster than they were 4 years ago. But still, it's a process. And once you're fully crystallized, there's no medal. You're not going to be like, yay, you might not even know the day that you're fully crystal. It doesn't really matter. And just the idea is that it's not going to be instant and it just takes some time to reclaim all these parts of yourself. And I think I've been talking for ages now. And what else? Just coming into alignment with yourself. I think aura transformation is amazing to come into alignment with yourself because it's so much simpler. You've let go of a load of debris so that you can really find your inner self. But even if you don't do an aura transformation, coming into alignment with yourself is so important. Find out what really matters to you. What do you think about all day? What do you write about? What do you talk about with your friends? What really interests you? What lights you up? Even if it was stamp collecting or taking makeup off Barbies, stick to it. Someone will, if you love something, other people will be like, oh my God, that's amazing, because they can feel the love you've put into it. You being happy and in alignment will affect everyone in your life. Everyone. Because you're lit up, you're glowing, then other people are like, whoa, what's this? And either they want to be near you so that they can learn to glow. I mean, the idea is that sacred activism is the more noble and radiant and in your power and making your life awesome. The more you do that, the more others are going to do it because you're an example, you're a lighthouse to others. Yay. So being in alignment, yeah. And I think also what's awesome, just to conclude really, is that when you're used to being in alignment, like I've been in alignment for a while, on and off, but like little things jar you off. When you come away on a big adventure and you're thrown into different energies and a new relationship and all this kind of stuff, it's very easy to suddenly like not be in alignment and you're like, whoa, that's like quite a shock. And what I like about it is it's a gift, because it's a gift that is making you find out how to get back into alignment quicker. It's a gift because it shows you where there's been some imbalances. Of course you're in alignment on your own, like I'm so good at being in alignment on my own. When you're mixed in with other people, it's easier to be thrown off. And for me, it's been about building a core resilience in finding my alignment faster and finding the tools that make it come in faster. And luckily I have all my AuraTransformation tools, but I know myself, so it's easier to come back to the middle. And also the kinesiology work is amazing because you can pick and go, ooh, there's an ancestral thing to draw back, or there's, we do something called dragon points, which is internal and external possession. So it's literally a bit like an exorcism of energies or thoughts or beliefs that are not yours, that are in your system. Some of them are generated by you, and sometimes they're external. So we do dragon points in kinesiology to send back all this stuff. So you don't have to have an aura transformation to find alignment, but it's a big helping hand. I think I've said everything I want. And I've loved being live, and I'm going to try and do another one tomorrow whilst I'm in this lovely, lovely place. It's just so relaxing. There's no like people, there's just good Wi-Fi and good art and it makes you feel super creative and able to think. I can really think here, which is great. I'm going to see if there's any more questions just in case, because I did get rid of it. Sounds a bit like you can carry on with life without having all life's shitty external factors in the way and living it with a new energy, and you can get out of your own way. Pretty much. Okay, so it's not, an aura transformation isn't going to just erase all your problems. And it's certainly, it's not going to just dissolve all your lessons that you were supposed to learn in this life. It's actually going to help you learn the lessons maybe more rapidly, and it's going to help you resolve difficult stuff, difficult situations in your life. It's going to help you resolve them from a wider heart perspective, different angle on it. So it's not erasing things, it's giving you extra tools, extra energy, extra oomph to deal with the problems at hand. So so it's not gonna get rid of life. I'm sorry about that. But it is going to get rid of a lot of the external, invisible forces that hold people back all the time. And you can get out of your own way, definitely. And what's amazing after an aura transformation is that you're not... sorry, I keep getting distracted by messages coming. What was I going to say? Oh dear. Brain fart. Get out of your own way. Oh, what I was going to say is that what's amazing after an aura transformation is things that used to really annoy you stop annoying you as much, because they're not like things attached, like emotional attachment to your old clothes you haven't worn in 15 years, or attachment to eating in a certain way or living in a certain way. All that kind of stuff goes, and you're like, oh, it doesn't even annoy me anymore, or like, oh, I can just get rid of all this stuff that I'm not attached to anymore. So it kind of helps in that way, in getting out your own way. Hello, Jessica. I'm looking forward to... Am I seeing you in next week? It'd be wonderful if you're there. I'm going to get offline because I've been on here for ages, even though I'm having a really good time talking to myself. And that's it. Find alignment. And if that means you've never had alignment, and it just means finding more simplicity in your life and less things that push and pull you. It doesn't have to be like you have to find your life purpose and create millions and all that. Being in alignment might just mean simplifying your life and just finding some sort of inner peace. That is a fantastic alignment to find in your life. Being at peace with yourself and at peace with your life. And if you are often in alignment and get knocked off, get curious and find out, if you can, kinesiology or whatever, find out what kind of external weird stuff is holding you back on any level. And for people like me, it's about being in my own nobility, my own truth, speaking the truth, and having a great impact. So that means living by example. And that's it. I love you guys. And goodbye from Tasmania.